Welcome to the Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres Postgame Show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
We are live here at Petco Park as the Padres fall in this series finale to the Detroit Tigers. The final score, Tigers 4 and the Padres 3. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. This was a tough one here tonight for the Padres. They had a 3-0 lead heading into the ninth inning after Martin Perez was great tonight. 6 1/3 scoreless innings. Jason Adam finishing the 7th inning. Tanner Scott a scoreless 8th inning, and then Robert Suarez came in for the 9th inning, and it just did not go his way. Suarez allowing a base hit, a couple of walks to load the bases, and then on a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs, the Tigers down to their final strike of the night. It was Parker Meadows who hit a go-ahead grand slam to put the Tigers ahead 4-3, and they go on to win by that final score. It looked for most of the night like the Padres would win a 4th in a row. It looked for most of the night like the Padres would sweep this series and keep the good times rolling, but Robert Suarez, who has had a terrific year, has not been quite as sharp lately, and it was pretty clear early in this outing in the 9th inning that he didn't have his best stuff in this game. But even with that, he was 1 strike away from getting out of the inning, shutting the door on a Padres win, and it just went the total opposite direction. Meadows the grand slam to put the Tigers ahead, and that was that here tonight. We'll talk more about Robert Suarez. We'll get into all of what went down in this game. Sure, there are some other things you can look at as well. The Padres offense was not great tonight. Jerks and Profar, solo home run in the 1st inning to make it 1-0. Xander Bogaerts, a 2-run home run in the 2nd to make it 3-0. Padres never added on in this game. They didn't have a ton of offense aside from the 2 home runs in this game. But with that said, anytime you have a 3-0 lead in the 9th inning and you've got the quality of closer of a Robert Suarez on the mound, it's just a great opportunity to win a baseball game. And unfortunately, Suarez just didn't really have it tonight, and it ended in a pretty bad way with the home run, the grand slam given up to Meadows. So we will get into all of it. This is a tough one here tonight. At the same time, it happens. Blown saves happen. It is the 4th blown save of the season for Robert Suarez. And when we come back, we'll have the radio highlights for you, recap this game from start to finish. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll talk about Robert Suarez and much, much more to come. Tough one here tonight. Tigers beat the Padres 4-3 in this series finale as the Tigers salvage the finale of this 3-game set. Our post-game show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Petco Park. Final score here tonight, Tigers 4 and the Padres 3. As we wrap this one up, we'll have our radio highlights for you in just a moment. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. A disappointing night for the Padres, who had a 3-0 lead for most of the night. In fact, they had a 3-0 lead down to a potential final strike of this game. We'll talk about it, recap it in just a second, but the Tigers find a way. They win it 4-3 over the Padres to salvage the finale of this 3-game set. Tigers improved to 71-70. Padres dropped to 80-62. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later as well, but an unfortunate part of this loss is the Padres had a nice opportunity today to gain ground on the other two teams currently holding wild card spots. The Diamondbacks losing earlier today, the Braves losing against Colorado earlier tonight. The Mets not playing, but all three teams, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Braves, everybody now lost tonight, so it's actually the Mets that pick up a half game on everybody, but a nice opportunity for the Padres to separate a little bit. We've got a ways to go. Could not do it here tonight. Came awfully close, but unfortunately could not find a way to pick up what would have been a full game on both the Diamondbacks and the Braves. Let's recap this game from start to finish.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
Padres starter Martin Perez allowed a single and a walk in the top of the first inning, but he got out of it for a scoreless opening frame. Casey Mize took the mound for the Tigers in the bottom half of the first inning. There were 2 outs and nobody on for Jerks and Profar.
Now 3-2, Mize delivers, Profar swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field, way back, way back, and gone, a home run. Not looking to walk there, he's 22nd of the season, and one of the longest he's hit in 2024. Solo shot in the bottom of the first, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead.
Fast forward to the bottom half of the second, Jake Cronenworth hit a leadoff double. Xander Bogaerts was next.
Here's the 0-1. Bogaerts in the air to left field, well struck. Green is back. He's going to watch. It's going to go. Line drive, home run to left field for Xander Bogaerts. Second of the night for the Padres, and a 3-0 lead here in the second inning.
So Profar his 22nd home run, Bogaerts his 8th home run, and just like that, through 2 innings, the Padres had a 3-0 lead. From that point on, Martin Perez became a big story in this game. He dealt with base traffic in the first 3 innings, but then from the final out of the third, he was rolling. A 1-2-3 fourth inning, a 1-2-3 fifth, a 1-2-3 sixth. He got the first out of the 7th inning, at one point retiring 11 batters in a row. Padres still led 3-0. Perez then gave up 2 straight singles in the 7th inning to bring the tying run to the plate. Mike Shildt went to Jason Adam out of the Padres bullpen. Adam got a ground out. The runners advanced to second and third base. The Tigers then pinch hit with Kerry Carpenter, who represented the tying run. Well, Jason Adams struck out Kerry Carpenter to end the 7th inning. All right, so a 3-0 game as the Padres still had that 3-0 lead in the 7th inning. We went to the 8th inning. Padres still led 3-0. Tanner Scott pitched a scoreless top of the 8th inning. Padres were unable to add on from the 2nd inning on, so the Padres still had that 3-0 lead. Heading to the bottom half of the 9th inning, they went to Robert Suarez, who notably was pitching his 4th game in a matter of 5 days. Top half of the 9th inning here. Padres ahead 3-0. Justin Henry Malloy hit a leadoff single to left field. Then Jace Young, who pinch hit for Jake Rogers, he walks. So just like that, the Tigers brought the tying run to the plate, and Spencer Torkelson, he popped out for out number 1, but then Suarez walked Colt Keith. That put the bases loaded. The tying run's on base, the go-ahead run at the plate. Kerry Carpenter stepped in, and he struck out for out number 2. Next up for the Tigers was Parker Meadows. The count went to 3-2. The tying run's on base with the bases loaded. Meadows representing the go-ahead run, and the Tigers down to their final strike.
3-2 to Parker Meadows. The runners will go, and it's hit in the air to left field and deep. Profar's going back, still going back, at the wall, it's gonna go! A grand slam for Parker Meadows, and the Tigers go in front. It's 4-3. Down to their final strike, trailing 3-0. The Tigers get a grand slam from their number 9 hitter. And Robert Suarez has paid a price for his wildness here in the ninth.
Just like that, a shocker. Parker Meadows go-ahead grand slam. It was 4-3 Detroit. Jeremiah Estrada would get the final out of the top of the ninth inning. So the Padres, who have had a comeback win or two this season, they came to the plate in the bottom half of the ninth inning, trailing 4-3. Tyler Holton came on for the save opportunity. Manny Machado grounded out. Donovan Solano pinch hit for Jay Cronenworth and flew out to right field. Xander Bogaerts did hit a single to put a 2-out base runner on, the tying run on base. So Jackson Merrill represented the winning run at the plate against Holton.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Merrill swings and skies it into shallow center field. Meadows, who hit the grand slam, comes on, and fittingly, he makes the catch to end the ball game. Dramatic comeback win for the Tigers here in the ninth inning tonight. The Padres cannot complete the sweep as Detroit gets the grand slam down to their final strike in the top of the ninth inning to come back and win this one 4-3.
And that was that here tonight. Final score, Tigers 4 and the Padres 3. Final totals for the Tigers, 4 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. For the Padres, 3 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. Padres win the first 2 games of this series on Monday and Wednesday, and they were oh so close, 1 strike away from sweeping this series, but it was not to be here tonight. The Parker Meadows go-ahead grand slam wins it for the Tigers 4-3 here at Petco Park tonight. Let's go downstairs and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Mike, just one of those nights for Robert was challenged with the fastball command?
Yeah, I mean, he's been fantastic for us. I mean, let's give him his due. He's been tremendous, and I wouldn't say spoiled us, but nothing's automatic in this game. And get ambushed with the first pitch and base hit, and they were patient. He was around the zone. Fastball was coming out good, 100, 101, but just a little spotty with the command. They were able to get a couple walks and put ourselves in harm's way, and 2 strikes and put a swing on him.
As far as Perez went tonight, it looked like the changeup was really effective for him.
Yeah, I turned to Ruben about the 4th. It's not a pitch that I don't think he's had as recently, but it's a pitch we identified when we first got him, how effective that was. And it really is just a filthy pitch, and it was on display tonight. Did a great job getting us into the 7th.
For Suarez, was it, I know you mentioned the command, but the stuff, his fastball had a lot of life on it. Did you feel like his stuff was as good as it was, and just a nice piece of hitting by Parker there?
Yeah, I mean, he's throwing 100, 101 until, stuff was great. Just found a barrel, supplied some of the power, and he did a nice swing on it.
You guys have done a fantastic job for bouncing back all year. What is it going to take to do so again after this one?
Oh, we just play every day. We just play the game the right way every day. So, I mean, that's what we do. So we'll be just fine.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 4-3 loss at the hands of the Detroit Tigers. Got football on the brain. NFL opener tonight. Detroit Tigers, they beat the Padres here tonight 4-3. And before we go to break here, and we'll have a relief pitcher of the game, daily awards, play of the game, out-of-town scoreboard, all that coming up here in just a little bit. Let's just take a little stock of Robert Suarez. In the last, really, little bit less than a month. He's 7 for 8 in save opportunities, okay? Coming into tonight, he had converted each of his last 7 save opportunities. I think the last month or so, there have been some nights where he hasn't been as sharp as he was earlier in the year. Tonight, it was pretty obvious from the first couple of batters. I mean, he walked 2 guys. He was doing things that he has not done this season. It was pretty clear that he didn't have it wasn't the best version of Robert Suarez out there. Now, with that said, he came a strike away from still getting through the jam and securing a save. And if he gets Meadows there, we're having a whole different conversation here on the post-game show. Look, he's been more susceptible to giving up runs in the last month. He has been converting saves. You look at it here, 6 of his last 13 appearances now, he's given up at least 1 run. So, again, he's been more susceptible to giving up runs. His ERA on August 8th was 1.59. His ERA today is 2.54. I could get into the ERA, but it really ballooned with the Grand Slam, so I don't think it's a great representation of what it's been. Look, I think it's fair to say with Suarez, he hasn't been as sharp in some of these appearances as what we saw in the first half of the season, and tonight was a tough one. Tonight was his toughest outing of the season, obviously. And look, Mike Shildt makes a very good point there in the post-game press conference as well. I don't want, tonight to now become, a bash of Robert Suarez. This guy has been really, really good. All-star caliber closer. Not just caliber, he was an all-star in 2024, and despite maybe not being as sharp lately, he's still, in most of these cases, getting the job done for you. And the velocity has been good. Tonight was a bit of a different story. Just, you could tell with the walks, and obviously a good piece of hitting by Meadows going the other way. He does deserve credit for that. So look, this has been a bullpen that has been really, really good. It was set up exactly the way the Padres wanted tonight with Adam and Scott, and then Suarez. Unfortunately, Adam and Scott got it done, and it was a tough outing for Robert Suarez here tonight. So, look, it's been a little bit less sharp, I guess you could say, the past month or so in some of these outings. I don't think it's the time to push the panic button on Suarez yet. The only thing that you would look at a little bit, when you look at his numbers, is just this fact. He's thrown a lot. He's already at a career high in innings. Again, I'm just speculating here as to, maybe why he hasn't looked as consistently sharp as he did in the first half of the season. With that said, again, entering tonight, he was 7 for 7 in his last 7 save opportunities. He did pitch 4 games in 5 days today. So, again, we're just sort of spitballing here. It was a tough outing for Robert Suarez. We'll see when the next one comes, and hopefully he can bounce back. And like I said in the opening segment as well, look, these things happen. I mean, I know nobody wants to hear that, but an outing like this does happen to the best of them, and Robert Suarez has been among the best of them as far as closers in Major League Baseball this year. And he almost got through it. He walked a couple of guys. Some of the stuff was self-inflicted with the walks here tonight. And then on a 3-2 pitch, Meadows got him the other way for a grand slam. It does happen, but this time of year it's really tough because these games are so important and so critical. And it's certainly a missed opportunity for the Padres to pick up a game on the D-backs and the Braves and create a little bit of separation here tonight. Doesn't happen. If you're the Padres, what you going to do? You got to bounce back tomorrow. It's that time of year as the Giants come to town. We'll step aside. We'll come back with more. Again, the final score, Tigers 4, Padres 3. More postgame after this on the Padres Radio Network. At Petco Park, as the Padres lose a tough one here tonight, no doubt about it. I think you could argue one of the tougher losses of the year. And then, look, that doesn't take away from what they've done in the second half. We've been over it many, many times how good they've been. But this was a tough one. I mean, anytime you're up 3-0, you've got a team down to their final strike, and they hit a go-ahead grand slam in your building. Look, it's a tough one. It's not the end of the world, but the Padres did have a missed opportunity here tonight to create a little separation in the wild card standings. And, well, you know what? This time of year, not much time to dwell on it. Got to come back tomorrow, start of a 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants. As we continue to break this one down, we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a little bit. We'll reset the wild card standings, the division standings as well before we go, and we'll have our play of the game. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973. The phone number, again, as always, 833-288-0973. Reality of this game was that the bullpen was set up exactly the way the Padres wanted here tonight. They just couldn't get it across the finish line. Let's talk a little bit more about that with our relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
Our relief pitcher of the game here tonight will stay on the Padres side of things because we can, and we'll give it to Jason Adam tonight, and I'll tell you why. Look, again, we're ignoring for a second what happened in the 9th inning, but at the time, the Padres led 3-0 in the 7th inning. Perez, who had been great, he retired 11 in a row from the end of the 3rd through there being 1 out in the 7th inning. Then Martin Perez gives up back-to-back singles. Just like that, the Tigers got the tying run to the plate. Adam comes in and retires Keith and then Carpenter to end that inning. 2 up, 2 down, only batters he faced in this game. So Jason Adam did a great job in that 7th inning, getting out of that jam really quickly, stranding the tying run at home plate. He was great. And then Tanner Scott came in the 8th inning and put together a scoreless 8th. So for getting out of the jam, Jason Adam, our relief pitcher of the game. Look, a lot of things went right tonight for the Padres. There were really 2 areas that didn't go right. Suarez, obviously, in the 9th inning, struggling as mightily as he did. And then the Padres offense not adding on after taking a 3-0 lead from the Profar home run in the 1st inning to the 2-run home run in the 2nd. Now, again, both sides of this can be true. The Padres offense, yeah, you would have loved them to have added on. And as you now look back on this game, in hindsight, yeah, not adding on was kind of a big deal in this game because of how it played out. With that said, you did have a 3-0 lead. However, you got there heading into the 9th inning and your all-star closer on the mound. And when you have a situation like that, you expect more times than not to win a ball game. So both things can be true at once. I believe, unfortunately, that this will be the first loss the Padres have had when they have had Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, and Robert Suarez pitching 7, 8, 9 in that order. I believe the Padres after last night were 8-0 when they had, I take it back for a second because yesterday was a different order, Scott, Adam, and Suarez. So I think, I'm like 99% sure without looking it up right now, but I'm going to go with it for now, that the Padres were 7-0 before tonight when they had Adam, Scott, and Suarez pitch the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings in that order. So this will be the first defeat when they've had sort of that big 3 in the back end of the bullpen pitching in that order in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So they're now 7-1 in those games. Not that that really matters. The thing that really matters is the Padres are 80-62 and they didn't win tonight, but just a little nugget there for you. Hey, look, again, bullpen-wise, they had it set up exactly the way they would have wanted with the 3 guys in that bullpen. Obviously, Adam, not a clean inning in the 7th inning, had to come in and get out of a jam. But Scott scoreless 8th inning, and you hand the ball to Suarez in the 9th inning. And on many, many nights, that has been a major part of the Padres' success. Wasn't to be here tonight. We'll step aside when we come back. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We will also have our player of the game. We'll have our play of the game coming up later as well. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973. Final score, Tigers 4, Padres 3. Postgame show continues when we return. Wrap this one up. Padres fall here tonight 4-3 against the Detroit Tigers. A go-ahead grand slam in the ninth inning for Parker Meadows propels the Tigers to a win in this series finale. Padres have a 3-game winning streak come to an end. They're unable to sweep this series from the Tigers. They do take 2 out of 3, but the Padres unable to move to what would have been 20 games above 500. Instead, the Padres dropped to 80-62 on the year. They will end the evening still in the top wild card spot. So a little bit of context there for you on a very disappointing night that had a very disappointing finish. But hey, this time of year, it's September 5th here tonight. You don't have much time to dwell. As cliche as it sounds, you got to come back out and start a new series tomorrow and get things rolling again, because this wild card race is very, very tight right now. And we'll have the full update on the standings here at the end of the night, and a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a few minutes as well. Just as we continue to discuss Robert Suarez, and again, if you want to call in, 833-288-0973. You can also get me on social media at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV, on Twitter, on Instagram, Sammy Lev there too. You can shoot me a message on Instagram, tweet at me, X at me, whatever you want to call it, and may just read your commentary here on the air along with your phone calls. Look, we went over it a little bit earlier with Robert Suarez. Obviously tonight he was not he was not sharp. It was pretty clear with the walks and the early base hit. And ultimately, even with that, he was one strike away from getting out of the whole thing and shutting the door on a win. He just couldn't get there. And Meadows, to his credit, look, it was a nice piece of hitting, went the other way and hit a grand slam. Does deserve some credit for that. But Robert Suarez was working with a 3-run lead, and he couldn't close the door tonight, which is obviously disappointing. We've talked about it a little bit, and I just want to further the conversation. Look, Robert was pitching his 4th game in 5 days. With that said, it's not like he was pitching 3 days in a row. Again, we're just talking about things that maybe impacted how he pitched tonight. Look, he's at a career high in innings. We all know that. We all understand that. Again, I'm just speculating here. I'm just talking through it. And look, in the last month or so, there have been outings where he hasn't been as dominant, as sharp, quite as dominant as he was in the first half of the year. 6 out of his last 13 outings, he's given up runs. With that said, he's picked up a lot of saves in that time, and just by the metric of having save opportunities and getting saves, it's been very good still. And I don't want that to get lost in the shuffle, because I see the narrative, and I was just scrolling through Twitter, during the commercial. Not that I, go by what people are tweeting, but, I can see it just already, some of the narrative around, Suarez and again, I just make the point here tonight that if you actually go and look at it, I mean, the last time he blew a save where the Padres actually had a lead in the 9th inning, it was July 5th. That was the game against Arizona. The Padres actually came back and won, if you remember. That was the bottom half of the 9th inning, the Profar home run that tied the game, and then the Manny home run that won the game 10-8. It was one of those crazy, crazy games, but Suarez actually blew the save in the top half of the 9th inning. That's actually the last time that he blew a save where they had a lead in the 9th inning. That was 2 months ago. It was July 5th. So any kind of narrative that it's just been, blown save after blown save here, it's just not accurate. Again, it hasn't been as sharp, but I went back and looked at it during the commercial break. There was technically a blown save in Baltimore on July 26th. That was a different situation. He actually got 5 outs in that game and came in the 8th inning. Was technically given a blown save. But again, the last one he had where they actually had a lead in the 9th inning was 2 months ago. So, look, we'll see. With Robert Suarez, again, he's pitched a lot. He's at a career high in innings. And, hopefully, fingers crossed, tonight was just one of those nights. And it happens. And guys sometimes aren't sharp, and guys sometimes give up home runs, and guys sometimes give up grand slams. To me, that's got to be the hope here tonight, that it was one of those for Robert Suarez. And, hopefully he gets it out of his system, because there's going to be many, many big save opportunities over the course of the next month, and hopefully well beyond for the San Diego Padres. Let's tell you about tonight's player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
Our player of the game here tonight, we'll stay on the Padres side of things, because our play of the game is, I think we know what it's going to be tonight, because I think we have one option. So we'll keep it positive for our player of the game here tonight. You know what? I think it's honestly a pretty simple selection. I think it's Martin Perez. 6 innings and a third scoreless. Could you have asked any more for Martin Perez in this game? 6 innings and a third scoreless, 5 hits allowed. He walked 1, struck out 5, 80 pitches. He was great here tonight. At one point, he retired 11 in a row. Gave up back-to-back singles in the 7th inning. I thought Mike Shildt did the correct thing in going and getting them before that inning could balloon, going and getting Adam, and it worked perfectly. Adam got the next 2 batters. So Perez was great tonight, and to me, very deserving of our player of the game, despite the Padres losing. And obviously, until the grand slam, he was in line for a win here tonight. So Martin Perez, our player of the game in this one, as the Padres fall 4-3. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
We take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard here tonight. Rangers beat the Angels 3-1 in Arlington earlier tonight. Did we play am I crazy here? Did we play the intro for the out-of-town scoreboard here? I'm not sure. All right, Rangers, we're going to do the out-of-town scoreboard anyway here. Rangers 3, Angels 1 in Arlington. The Rockies beat the Braves 3-1 in Atlanta. Michael Tolia had a big home run in that game for the Rockies. Pirates beat the Nationals 9-4 in Pittsburgh. Phillies beat the Marlins 5-2 in Miami. Giants beat the Diamondbacks 3-2 in San Francisco. Mariners beat the A's 6-4 in Oakland. Twins beat the Rays 4-3 in Tampa Bay. The Reds beat the Astros 1-0 in Cincinnati. And that is a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Thursday here tonight. All right, when we come back, we'll have a full look at the standings, kind of get you up to speed on what's gone on. We'll hear our play of the game, and so we'll also wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973, the phone number to call. Final score, Tigers 4, Padres 3. More postgame after this. from the Detroit Tigers. And by the way, our out-of-town scoreboard, we had a little miscue there. Out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity. So, yeah, you heard me there. I thought we didn't get the right intro there. Turns out Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity. That's the great sponsor of our out-of-town scoreboard here tonight. Let's hear tonight's play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
3-2 to Parker Meadows. The runners will go, and it's hit in the air to left field and deep. Profar's going back, still going back, at the wall, it's gonna go! A grand slam for Parker Meadows, and the Tigers go in front. It's 4-3. Down to their final strike, trailing 3-0. The Tigers get a grand slam from their number 9 hitter. And Robert Suarez has paid a price for his wildness here in the ninth.
No doubt about it. Unfortunately, here tonight, the play of the game, Parker Meadows, the grand slam in the 9th inning to give the Tigers a 4-3 lead. Certainly the most consequential swing in this game. So, as always, gives us no great pleasure to hand out our play of the game to that kind of play, but way it went down here tonight as the Tigers win it by that final score of 4-3. So what's coming up for the Padres? Well, they take on the San Francisco Giants, a series opener tomorrow, first of a 3-game set between the Padres and the Giants. Pitching matchup tomorrow. On the mound for the Padres, right-hander Michael King. On the mound for the Giants, right-hander Mason Black. First pitch tomorrow at 6:40. Our Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 5:40. Certainly hope you can join us then. Before we head out for the evening, I did promise you that we would take a full look at the standings at the end of tonight, as we're going to do throughout the rest of the regular season. So this is the way things look at the end of tonight, with everything going final. I guess the silver lining here tonight, even though it was a missed opportunity for the Padres, was the fact that they did not, well, I should put it as everybody else lost. The Diamondbacks lost today. The Braves lost today. The Mets did not play today. So at the end of tonight, the wild card picture looks like this. The Padres still maintaining the top wild card spot, a half game up on the Diamondbacks. The Braves are then in the third and final wild card spot. Padres are 3 games up on both those teams. Braves and the Mets at the end of tonight are both 76 and 64, so they are tied for the third and final wild card spot. Then you have the Cubs 4 games out behind those two, Atlanta and New York, and St. Louis 5 games out. But the 4 you're really focused on right now, the Diamondbacks, the Braves, the Mets, and, of course, the Padres. And, look, the Mets all of a sudden are tied for that final wild card spot in the National League. As far as the division, Padres lost a half game today. Dodgers not playing, so the Padres 5 games out of first place in the National League West. The Diamondbacks 5.5 out for first place in the National League West. As always, if you missed any of our post-game show, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also go back and watch any portion of our post-game show on our YouTube channel, the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight. For the Tigers, 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 6. For the Padres, 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left on 4. The winning pitcher in this game here tonight was, let me just make sure I got the first name here right. Hold on here a second. This rarely happens, but I want Ricky Vanasco. I wanted to make sure I had Vanasco written down here. It is Ricky Vanasco who improves to 1-0. Losing pitcher Robert Suarez, who drops to 8-3. Tyler Holton picked up the save, his 7th of the season. Time of game, 2 hours and 23 minutes, and the crowd at Petco Park, the 47th sellout of 2024, 40,221, the attendance here tonight in downtown San Diego. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 6:40 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score here tonight, the Detroit Tigers 4 and the San Diego Padres 3. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.